Hey guys, I'm Sarah. I'm doing my project on Scott Friedman, who is actually my uncle, and he turns small businesses into big businesses such as brands like NYX Cosmetic and Bellamy Hair. So here it is. Okay, so my first question is, let's start with just a little background about yourself and what your current role is and what past roles have you been a part of in certain companies.
Okay. Well, my current role is the CEO of Bellamy Hair, and we're a professional beauty company. Well, it's professional and consumer. So the primary product category is hair. So the so we sell the hair extensions to consumers, and we sell to professional hairstylists and salons as well. The company, it's here since October, so it's relatively new.
And
then
before you worked
before
at
that,
Bellamy, you worked at NYX.
right before that, for 6 years, I was the CEO of NYX Professional Makeup. And when it started, it was a very small company. So it was about 27 million in sales. And then 6 years later, I left 6 years later. And so we hit right about $1 billion in sales by the end of that 6th year. So we grew a lot. And so we sold to all over the world, and we sold makeup. We had we had about 2,000 different items, and we sold to beauty retailers, to like Ulta Beauty. We sold to professional beauty stores. We sold to Target, and then we sold internationally. We sold to Boots in UK and Priceline in Australia, DM in Germany. But we sold to distributors in Russia. We sold all over the world. And so I ran that for 6 years. So after 3 years, L'Oreal bought us. And then I stayed on working as a division of L'Oreal for 3 years. And then before that, I was the president of a company called Allegro, where we made fashion bags. And so the number one category was cosmetic bags. And we sold to Walmart and Target and pretty much almost everyone, because we had about 80% of the market for cosmetic bags in North America.
Wow.
And so we sold that company to Conair Corporation. And so in all cases, in the last 3 years, I became the CEO or president of a small company. We grew it.
Wanting to work ground up, how are you able to find investor funding and get everything started to start making it a bigger company?
Right. So the funding is interesting because, and over the years, the source not going to partner, but they want to partner with the right company. So growing, if you're profitable, then you develop relationships with banks, and banks will lend based upon different criteria. They'll lend based upon your cash flow. That's like accounts receivable and inventory. So if you're growing, you're buying inventory that you're going to sell, and so where I'll lend up to half of what your inventory costs, and I might lend up to, we could borrow 80% of what Walmart owes us. We can borrow 80% of what's up to 50% of our inventory. That's the least expensive. Mm-hmm. It can be maybe a point or two above prime, or there's LIBOR. There's different formulas to look at that. But the question you asked about really rapid growth, if you're a small company and you're growing rapidly, you definitely need money. And so one way is to sell part of your company. And so if, let's say that you have a company with $50 million in sales, and let's just say it's worth $50 million. If you were going to sell it, you might find a 20% of your $50 million. Then they would have dollars to buy inventory, to invest. But in all cases, when you deal with those are sometimes they're called investment banks, but you have to have very projections or budget that say, this is what I'm going to do in the coming year. And what you need is to establish credibility. You have to be open. You have to know what's going on. So, and in the past, when I had bank let's say bank debt. If we're growing rapidly, I would know, like 4 months after covenant, there's no problems. They don't want to. If there's a problem, they want to say, all right, we're not lending you money. And if there's a big problem, they have the right to call their loan where you have to pay them back. And so, but I would know based upon seasonality sometimes that 4 months from now I can see, because I have projections that tell that I can say, all right, we're going to in 4 months. But it's a good thing. It's because we've got some huge orders, so we're going to need more money in order to invest in inventory and things. And tell them 4 months in advance that just want you to know we have this big order, we're going to need this. They'll say, oh, that's great, thanks for letting us know. What nobody wants is surprises. So that's the bank part, the regular, the bank credit. But the same thing holds true of companies that are rapidly. They have to understand they have to believe in your growth strategy. They have to understand that you really know your business. So there's a lot of really smart people, and they ask you a lot of questions, and it's fun, actually. I love those dialogues, the dialogue with investment bankers, or with, I say investment bankers a couple of times, because the investment bankers are the ones that are in between. They represent you, or they represent the private equity groups. They're the brokers. But in all cases, they want to know that you understand your business.
So with the same formula and method that you use to help you be successful with all the different companies you've been a part of?
It's interesting. There's a huge similarity between the growth at NYX Professional Makeup, where I was for 6 years, and the growth here at Bellamy, because both of them are huge believers and participants in social media and influencer relationships. And so what was really important for me at NYX, which will become important at Bellamy, is I believe in partnering really well with. So I didn't want to go into Walmart, for instance. I think Walmart is an incredibly good company. I actually think they're an ethical company, easy to deal with, but they don't. We built our brand over time. We sold to a lot of professional beauty stores. And then our best initial partner was Ulta Beauty, who became the largest independent beauty retailer in the country. Bellamy, in terms of similarities, so the similarity and understanding how we want to consumer hair extensions, and now we're just started directly with salons and stylists. And what's interesting, and the reason I got into this industry, is that once we started really at NYX, just winning the battle at retail. We grew, our compound annual growth rate was over 60%. So every year, over 6 years, we grew over 60% average, compounded. And then, and we did it by understanding the brand story and how we wanted to grow. And so the way we'll do that at NYX, we started with direct to consumer. Now we're building a stylist community where we will sell professional hair to salon owners and stylists. And once we started at NYX, and a couple other companies really killing it and taking space from all the big guys woke up and said, holy whatever. And they, because I assume this is taped or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I won't be as colorful in my language. So, but once we started really beating them, they said, first they started trying to buy people. That's why L'Oreal bought us. Even though, in fact, in 3 years, our company, right before I joined NYX, the company is worth $40 million. Exactly 3 years to the day later, we sold to L'Oreal for $500 million.
For people who want to start with small business and help it grow, what do you recommend for them to do?
So it's important to focus, to know well, to me, number one thing is the brand, because I'm thinking about consumer product brands. There could be service companies and something else, but it's to know, why do people want to buy from you? And never forget what it is about your company that's going to make it successful, which is giving somebody what they want, and whether it's a brand, whether it's a service. And so it's don't lose focus on the fact that you're there to service people. All right. So since there are so many different types of businesses, I'll make an assumption. For now, let's assume that you just got out of college and you have an idea and you want to start your own company alone without any employees. The important thing, again, is to know what it is about your company that is going to make people want to buy it. And so you have to always focus on the relationship that a customer has with your company, whether it's a service or a brand or something. And so then you want to figure out how to let a lot of people know about it. And so, because marketing occurs whether you're conscious about it or not, it means letting people know about what it is you want to sell, or whether it's a service or a good. And so it's identifying what you have to do to reach people. And then, regardless of what that method is, you ultimately have to understand how much it's going to cost you to do that. The best is word of mouth. And if you sell the best tasting chocolate chip cookie in the world to someone, and they love it, so they tell 3 of their friends, and those 3 friends tell 3 of their friends, then that's the most efficient of all. You don't have to spend any money really on marketing. You just have to always have good quality. So it starts with quality, and then it's marketing. But if you sell to someone who really likes it, but they don't tell a lot of other people, then you have to figure out how to reach new people. So advertising can be anything from a flyer that you put on a wall to sharing something on with your friends on Facebook, even though nobody uses Facebook anymore. So let's forget that. Let's say Instagram for now. But to me, if you're going to start a small business, the best thing to do is get somebody that has a following to talk about it. There's no question that when you start your own company, you're going to run into a lot of issues. And the successful entrepreneur is someone that knows how to deal with them, because there's going to be problems, and you just have to find a way to be positive and push through. So I don't know if but let's talk about a different kind of company. Let's say that, because this might happen, let's say I decide to start a cosmetics company, and I decide to partner. Let's assume I decide to partner with the most famous celebrity in the world, and we want to create a huge company really, really fast. Then I'm thinking, all right, now I need to create a website that can handle a tremendous amount of traffic. I need to have a point of difference in terms of the brand, and you don't want to just be a Me Too, and the brand has to properly be associated with a celebrity. You also have to know where you're going to manufacture. Asia, which costs less, or the US, which costs more. What are the lead times? And so there I might need a lot of money. So then I'm going to have to deal with different private equity groups, or it depends. If it's tech related a little bit, then you have more what they call venture capital. It's almost the same as a private equity group that goes in really early. And you have to have a really good story, and you have to show them that you have to have credibility. They have to like the people on your team. You have to have a plan. And then you're going to scale really rapidly. So you just have to invest in people and operations. You have to have the other thing, whether it's small or large, where are you going to keep the inventory? How are you going to distribute it? So are you going to do it out of your garage yourself? Or are you going to pay a distributor? A distributor, and there's millions, a lot of them, they'll have a warehouse, and that's what they do. They hold other people's products. They either pay for the space you take, or you pay them if they're going to pack and ship everything, a percentage of sales. All these things cost money, so it all has to be part of your plan. And so you just have to think forward.